What's happening, guys? It's your girl Minna. Welcome back to my channel. You already know what it is. Big up to everyone locked in on this wonderful Sunday afternoon, Sunday vibes, the day after, I guess, a Manchester United pre-season game. And boy, do we have a little bit to talk about. We got quite a bit to talk about. I'm not going to lie. We're going to dissect the game. We're going to talk about, unfortunately, the injury issues that may or may not be coming our way. We're going to speak about some players that I feel like impressed yesterday, some players that proved that they are not good enough to play for Manchester United, and we're going to also talk about transfer news as always. Big up to everyone locked in on this wonderful day. Like I said, be sure to hit the like button and be sure to subscribe. If you want to join the Minions gang, the membership crew, you can. It's the pinned comment in the chat. You get your badges, you get your emojis, you get your custom member content, and of course you get to support the growth of the channel. If you want to support the channel in other ways, you can. If you are enjoying the content here, you can send in super chats with your comments, with your thoughts, with your questions, just to show appreciation. And if you want to do something that's simple, guys, just hit the like button. It's as simple as that. Just before I went live, there was some news that came out. Now, some people are saying the source is not really sourcing. Some people are saying the source is not really sourcing. So I will have to counter that. But we're still going to talk about it. We're going to talk about who the source is, where the information is coming from. But reported by Santi Ouna, a hit and miss sometimes, I'm not going to lie. Manchester United has reportedly reached a verbal agreement to sign Mazraoui from Bayern Munich. Mazraoui has already agreed to join Manchester United, and the only thing that is pending is for West Ham and Aaron Wan-Bissaka to come to terms for personal agreements. It's as simple as that. So if Manchester United are going to sign Mazraoui, we already know that the only way it happens is if, Aaron Wan-Bissaka leaves. And it's funny because West Ham was linked to Mazraoui and they were linked to Wan-Bissaka. It looks like they're going to end up with Wan-Bissaka. He needs to agree personal terms with West Ham. The fee is already reportedly in place between West Ham and Manchester United, which is just above £15 million. And same for the fee for Nazir Mazraoui from Bayern Munich. It's just above, I think, 17 million reportedly euros. So we're going to see what happens. We're going to see what happens. But that is probably the biggest transfer news thus far today. It seems like Manchester United are moving slowly, I would say, since the last transfer announcement in Lenny Euro. It's been over a week and a half now since that. Manchester United, the midfield talk has kind of quietened down for a little bit. And it looks like the fullback position is the position that Manchester United are looking to enhance. Nazir Mazraoui, I think, is reasonable fee if it is actually 17 million euros plus obviously add-ons. 2 years left on his contract. Can play with Erik ten Hag, has played with Erik ten Hag, has played with the likes of Onana, Ligt if Manchester United get him, etc., etc. Anthony, all of them guys. An ex-Ajax player, so you kind of already know what you're getting. But I'm not going to lie, for the deal, it's not bad. It's not bad for the deal. Now, the price tag is not confirmed yet. There is no confirmed price tag just yet. But I think it's within that region. And like I said, Manchester United and West Ham have already agreed a fee on Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and it's just pending personal terms. Now, it's interesting because I remember like earlier in the week, it was reported that West Ham, Aaron Wan-Bissaka was not interested in joining West Ham, and his preference was to go to Inter Milan. So I don't know if it's because Inter Milan maybe has not come in for him, and maybe Manchester United are pushing him to join West Ham just to kind of get him out of the door. But we saw him take part in preseason, in the preseason game yesterday against Arsenal. So that is the current status of transfer news. But you lot already know, today's stream is preseason talk. It's the day after a preseason game. We got a little bit to talk about. I think we actually got a lot. I think we got more to talk about in this game than we probably had to talk about in the Rangers game. I'm not going to lie. Now, of course, it's weird. You play a game, it doesn't matter what the result is, it still goes to penalties. It doesn't make sense. Sometimes I just don't understand it when Manchester United play, they go on their US tour, why that is the case. Now, I've seen a lot of conversations happening about the grass or about the pitch that Manchester United were playing in. I think it's an NFL stadium, if I'm not wrong. And reportedly, they layered grass on top of the grass in the stadium. It's artificial grass that they play in the NFL, etc. So they layered that artificial grass with real grass on top. It looked very patchy. It looked quite elevated. The pitch just looked weird. The pitch just looked weird. And I remember that I remember reading a study last summer, shortly after a lot of other European teams had preseason in America, and the study was talking about the grass. It was talking about the grass and why so many European players. I don't know if you lot remember, but so many players had ACL injuries at the beginning of the season last year or in preseason. I remember there was a Villa player, Tyrone Mings. I remember Militao. There was so many players who had a preseason tour in America go on to tear their ACL basically during that time. Oh, did my internet just bug out for a second? I think it did. Please, let there not be an internet outage. I had to deal with one on Friday. I don't want to deal with one again. Make sure, guys, drop a thumbs up in the chat if everything is still good for the stream, which I'm hoping that it is. But on the topic of the grass looked weird yesterday. It looked very, very weird. And I remember MUTV was saying it was not layered grass, and then they came back and said, actually, yeah, it's layered grass. And so they layered it on top of artificial grass. The cleats get stuck on the soft pitch. Exactly. Literally, that is literally the case. And I remember reading this study last summer and I was very interested about it. So I really hope we're going to speak about the injuries because obviously that's going to be part of the discussion today. But I really, really hope that there's no more injuries in preseason for Manchester United. But let's start with something funny. Let's start with something that made me laugh yesterday. Well, Andre Onana is the gift that keeps on giving. This guy is the gift that he just gave us. He gave rivals a meme to probably use for the rest of the season. If he has a howler, you know damn well people are pulling this picture out and using it all over social media. I don't know honestly why he did this. Like dead ass, I'm not even joking. I don't know why he did this. Obviously, I guess it was to put him off, put the players off during the penalty shootout. And then I saw afterwards, Gabriel took his penalty, scored, went the way that Onana told him to go, went over to him and basically said to him, "You shush, you talk too much." It's pre-season, guys. It's pre-season. Like, come on, man. Pre-season is, I don't know, man. I saw man beating their chest, like their badge when they scored, and I'm thinking, yo, this is pre-season. But sometimes the rivalry continues even into pre-season. This made me laugh. I can't lie. This made me laugh. Don't worry, Minna. Nana said it's the season for revenge. Listen, he's talking a lot. He's doing a lot of talking. And where I'm from, if you talk the talk, you better walk the walk. It's as simple as that. So whatever he's saying in media interviews, and I've seen him speaking to United View, I've seen him speaking to Stretford Paddock, etc. Whatever he's saying to the media, bro, you better back your chat. You need to back your chat. You can't just talk for the sake of talking, because all eyes are on him this season. I'm not saying all eyes, but eyes are on him this season because this is his second season. Eyes are going to be on Højlund because it's his second season. Eyes are going to be on Mason Mount. All these players, by the way, we're gonna speak about as well. Is my internet bugging out? Oh my god! I'm so sorry, guys. My internet is so bad. I don't know what is going on with my internet. Sky need to sort out. Sky broadband, guys, sucks. Can I just say that? Yeah, my internet's back. Thumbs up in the chat, please. Before I start getting into the discussion of preseason talk, just thumbs up in the chat. If you don't know, bro, I had an internet outage yesterday, guys. I had an internet outage on Friday, sorry, and I had no internet all day. So clearly, there's still internet problems occurring. But listen, let's get straight into it. Let's talk preseason. Let's talk Arsenal game. Let's talk all of that stuff, and I want to hear all of you guys' thoughts. Big up to I Am Me, the newest member of the community. Welcome to the Minions gang. Welcome. Make sure you use your custom emojis. Make sure you use all the custom content that you get. Make sure you be using it. Big up to Lil Yo-Yo in the chat, says, Miss Football, what's good? What's happening? It's so hot today, guys. I'm always complaining about the weather, but then when it's hot, I still complain. It's just a lose-lose situation. Preseason, I think this was a decent lineup, guys. I don't know who the hell this kid is, and I don't know who the hell this guy in the jumper is. Maybe I'm. Is he a player? I don't even know. But this was a decent lineup. I can't lie. This was a decent lineup. Harry Amas gets the nod. Toby Collier gets the nod. I think they both had good performances. We're going to speak about both of them in depth. I think Mason Mount had a good game. He looked energetic. He looked alive. I think that's the best way that I can actually describe him. He looked energetic. He looked alive. He looked like he was willing to press, willing to run, etc., etc. Casemiro, for me, he's always just one mistake away from effing up everything for the team. He's always just one mistake away from effing everything up. I said it yesterday. I said going into the game, and I'm not too fussed about the result, but I do heavily focus on just the way the team play. Fitness is a big part for me. Just, you know, patterns of play, people getting match ready, that kind of stuff is the most important things during preseason. That's just my opinion. Of course, it's a game. You don't want to lose a game, but also, guys, it's preseason. Like, people were losing their mind yesterday. Like, I tuned into because I was streaming I was watching it on my phone. In between like halftime and that, I was going on United View. I was watching Owen's match view. People were losing it in the comments. They were losing it in the I was like, guys, come on, man. Firstly, it's 3 a.m. in the morning. Yeah, if you're living in the UK, it was 3 a.m. in the morning. It's pre-season, guys. Come on, it's pre-season. The most important thing is to see some identifiable moments with players that make you think, okay, these lot are, you know, they're gonna have a good season. They're gonna have a good season. Now, let's start with the goal. Let's start with the goal. Please, guys, can we stop calling him R9? And I'm saying we as if I'm the one that's calling him that. I ain't been calling him that, but I've seen people calling Rasmus Højlund R9. Please, can you stop it? R9 is only one player, and we know who that is, and that's not Rasmus Højlund. I get it. He wears number 9. I get it. His name's Rasmus, but please, guys, can we stop calling him R9? I think it was a well-worked goal. I think it was a good finish as well. Nobody could watch yesterday's game and say that they didn't identify moments of style when the team had the ball. Now, of course, sometimes Manchester United in transition, defensive transition, sometimes they just look like they are just one moment away from getting destroyed, and that is a bit worrying. That is a bit worrying. But I think yesterday or last night, we saw some identifiable moments of passages of play. Of course, this is not Manchester United's full lineup. Some players are missing. There are players missing. Kobbie Mainoo's missing. Luke Shaw's missing. Bruno Fernandes is missing. Joshua Zirkzee is missing. Lisandro Martinez is missing. There are players missing. So we can't dwell on that too much. But there were some definitely identifiable moments of, I would say, fingerprints of coaching philosophy there. Big up to Ahmed, says a bit off topic. Mohammed Bilal became the first Arab to be a UFC champion, Palestinian to be specific. I'm not gonna lie, guys, I do not watch UFC, but I always support, I'm not gonna lie, guys, I always support the Muslim fighters. I'm not gonna lie, especially the man them from Dagestan. I support them. But yes, I saw this yesterday. I saw obviously clips after the United game finished. What I didn't understand is it was in Manchester because one of my cousins went, but it was at 4 a.m. That's odd. It's Bilal Muhammad, not Muhammad Bilal. Shout out to him. Big up Bilal, but that was an awful fight. A lot of people that I know that watched it said the same thing as well. I don't know much about UFC. I can't watch UFC. I'm not gonna lie. It is a bit of a gory sport. It's too much blood and all of that kind of stuff. I don't really like fighting sports. But I'm a simple person in UFC. I see a Muslim, I support them. So big up to him. This is the part that I don't really want to talk about. This is the part that I don't really want to talk about. United cannot catch a break. Wallahi, Manchester United cannot catch a break. Now, reportedly, Rasmus Højlund's injury is not that bad, which is reassuring to know. It's quite reassuring to know. Lenny Yoro, however, is the part that I'm very concerned about. That's the part that I'm very, very concerned about. Now, Manchester United are still waiting for some information. They're still waiting for, I think they said it will be up to 24 hours before they get results, etc., etc. Media were saying that they saw him limping, walking out of the stadium after the game. They said Højlund looked okay when he was leaving, but they said Lenny Yoro was limping. And they also said that Erik ten Hag said in the post-match presser, he said that Lenny Yoro had been training on 50%, i.e. he hadn't trained for an entire training session. He only trained for 50% of training sessions. That's scary. That's scary. Like, honestly, if he did not train for that long, I wish he didn't play. Because I even saw some reports suggesting that he actually might have a hairline fracture. Now, when I first saw that, I thought, how can he have a hairline fracture when it was his leg that got injured, not his head? I actually thought a hairline fracture was something to do with your hair. So I was bare confused. Let me see what a hair... And then I had to Google it. And then I found out a hairline fracture is a tiny crack in your bone. Fun fact, guys, I genuinely thought he had I actually thought like he injured his head. I was so confused. I was like, what? You lot are laughing in the chat. Honestly, I've never heard of a hairline fracture. That was the first time I've ever heard of it. So apparently he has a hairline fracture. Now, I don't know how true it is because I think it is just speculation. I think it is just speculation. But if it is an injury that can keep him out for reportedly up to 8 weeks, that is very, very worrying. Bear Marleys would have hairline fractures. Hey, if hairline fracture was actually to do with your hair, East Africans would be finished. We would all be all the East Africans would be finished. But if it is actually a hairline fracture that keeps him out for 6 to 8 weeks, reportedly, and this is just by speculation, this is just reports, this is worrying. This is actually worrying because if he came into the team, he came to Manchester United, 10 days ago? Hasn't trained 100% in sessions? Hasn't trained for the entirety of a training session, and then you put him into a preseason game with some effed up pitch. I'm saying effed up pitch, but it is like mentioned before. It's the grass is so soft because it's layered on top of artificial grass. It's like you dig your foot in and your foot ain't coming out. Your foot ain't coming out because it's so soft. It's literally like a sponge cake. It's very, very unfortunate. Speaking to the media after the game, Erik ten Hag says, we have to wait over 24 hours, then we'll hopefully know some more. We were very careful, especially with Lenny. He did only 50% from the sessions, and then it's very disappointing that he has to come off. But let's be positive and see what the outcome is. I just don't get it. If you yourself, coaching staff, knew that he had only trained for 50% from the sessions since he's joined, why start him? It's very, very concerning. Like, am I the only person that's actually worried about it? Now, for me, what was also worrying is not just the fact that, because I was reassured that he didn't get a stretcher didn't come on the pitch for him. He managed to do a lap of the entire stadium and walk down the. Rasmus Højlund was on the ground for a hot sec. He was there for a hot second, and he went straight down the tunnel. 15 minutes. Look, guys, look at the clock. 15 minutes into a preseason match. And apparently he was signaling to the bench that it was his hamstring. That's what he was saying. He was saying there was something wrong with his hamstring. I really hope, just for United's sake, that he is not injured. I even hope Lenny Yoro is not injured. And the reason why I'm saying that is Man United cannot start the season the way they ended last season, with injury issues everywhere. It's impossible. It's like, it would actually be very unfortunate. You shouldn't start the season how you ended the last. And I think the injury problems kind of overshadow the entire performance. Johnny Evans said he was complaining about his hamstring after the game. What, Johnny Evans was complaining about his hamstring, or Rasmus Højlund was complaining about his hamstring? Because I saw him pointing, saying there was something wrong with. Yeah, okay, Højlund was complaining. I saw him indicating that it was something wrong with his hamstring to the medical staff. So that is very concerning, and equally so is Lenny Yoro. Like, I have a question to ask you guys. Do you guys think if a player comes in, like, say it's preseason, yeah, how many minutes do you feel like new players should play? Like, because Lenny Yoro is not someone who's had injury issues. He's not had issue. It's not something of him having regular injury problems for him to just magically get an injury in his second game for Man United within 30 minutes of the game. Is it like, I do not want to put it down to it all being the pitch's fault. I don't think we can blame the pitch that much. But the pitch is ugly. It's actually horrendous. And that's why I see people always complaining about having to play in America for you, like for US tours, teams going on US tours. They complain obviously about the pitches. Now, I have a question, and maybe this is someone from America can answer. Do MLS teams play in NFL stadiums, or do MLS teams have their own stadiums? Because if MLS teams have their own stadiums, why don't they play the games at MLS stadiums? Does that make sense? Why are they playing the games at... Obviously, I guess for capacity purposes, the NFL stadiums are huge. They seat 80K, 90K. The NFL stadiums in America are humongous. So I kind of understand that MLS stadiums are smaller. Okay, that makes sense. Money. Yeah, of course. These, Man United, Arsenal, Liverpool, all these teams will sell out all the time. Man City, I don't know. I'm not too sure about Man City. Salam Shaks, I'm an Arsenal fan. Salam. Everyone's welcome here. Just be respectful. You know what it is. AstroTurf course sprays, but it's all synthetic mix now. When I saw the pitch yesterday, I thought it looked a bit raggedy. I was like, the pitch looks a bit raggedy. And then I saw reports online saying that first they were saying it was artificial grass. Then they were saying it's not artificial grass. The grass has been layered. How can you layer grass on top of artificial grass? Do you know how crazy that is? You've basically just it's basically like a platform. So that means when you're playing and you dig your foot into the ground, your foot is sinking into the ground because there's layers. That I don't think is fit for purpose. I personally don't think it's fit for purpose. But obviously, what do I know? I'm not a, what's it called? It was grass on top of AstroTurf. That is still ridiculous. I think that is still personally ridiculous. And like I said, last summer I remember reading a report. It was actually like a study that was talking about basically the number of players in Europe that have gone injured in the beginning of the football season. And there was a correlation between the amount of those teams that played in the US for their pre-season tours, and they were talking about the piece was talking about pitches. Minna, what injury does Lenny Yoro have? We don't know yet. There is no official news. And once we do have the news, obviously, we'll share it here. There's no official news about the injury that he has. There was speculation suggesting that he has a hairline fracture, which, if you don't know, is a crack in your bone. It's nothing to do with your actual hairline. It's a crack in your bone. That's what is being suggested, the injury that he has. And if he does have that, if he does have that, that is reportedly 6 to 8 weeks. 6 to 8 weeks. Which means United will definitely have to speed up the process of signing Ligt. Like, they will have to speed it up. Now, Fabrizio actually just reported about an hour ago that there are talks still ongoing about Nazir Mazraoui and Matthias de Ligt. The players are patiently waiting for Manchester United, as Manchester United need to sell Aaron Wan-Bissaka. So a lot of Man United's kind of future depends on their defensive future depends on Aaron Wan-Bissaka making a decision. Now, I hope Lenny Yoro is okay. I really, really hope that Lenny Yoro is okay. And I hope that Rasmus Højlund is okay as well. Poor Lenny, he just wanted to play some football and be a team player. He just wanted to, like, he got fresh braids done. Guys, look at this. He got his fresh braids done. He got his, what's it called? A taper fade. He got a fresh trim. This is probably his first tour in America. He was just ready to enjoy time. He was just ready to enjoy pre-season, and then the poor guy has to go off with an injury. And same for Rasmus Højlund. Here it's a stage 2 sprain, which would be 2 to 4 weeks. I hope so. I just hope it's actually nothing, but I also hope that there is precaution taken. Obviously, the coaching staff know best, but actually, do they really? Because if you're telling me that Erik ten Hag said that he only trained for 50% of the sessions, and then they started him, I don't think it was a good idea. It was a very physical game as well on, I think, both sides. I think it was a physical game for both teams. But let's talk about some of the performances. I know some of you lot are going to absolutely get onto me now for starting with Mason Mount. But let's talk about some of the performances that I was impressed with. Let me know what you lot thought as well of these games. If you've just come through, be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. Let's try to get to 100 likes during the stream, hopefully. If you want to join the Minions gang, you can. It's the pinned comment in the chat. You get your badges, you get your emojis, you get your custom member content. Of course, you get to support the growth of the channel. If you want to support the channel in other ways, you can by sending in super chats if you are enjoying and appreciating the content, or just do the simple thing, which is just hitting the like button. Let me see what you lot say. Ridwan said, I thought Mount was way better than usual. TI10 says he was mid. Travelli says he was kind of good. I think Mason Mount was actually good. I actually think he was pretty decent. I think he was showing what I know you lot are saying we did. I know Show said it in the chat that we didn't spend 60 million on someone bringing energy, but he did bring energy. He was pressing, he was getting across, he was covering a lot of blade of grass. Now this is Mason Mount for me. I said equally as much as the pressure is on Onana, the pressure is on players like Mason Mount as well. I think players like Rasmus Højlund, the pressure is not that much on him, despite the fact that he's got the number 9 shirt because he scored 15 goals last season. Mason Mount didn't really play much. Onana had stinkers throughout season last season. So for me, I think them two, there's a lot on them. Now, I'm still trying to figure out what Mason Mount's role is at Manchester United. Is he the I don't want to say the Scott McTominay, but is he the Scott McTominay of the team? The energy, the running, covering grass. Is it literally road runner, basically in his Mo Farah bag, just running. Big up to Riri, been a member for 7 months, says, let's get the likes up, people. You heard it, man. Let's get the likes up. Honestly, I think Mason Mount for me had a standout performance. But then again, it's pre-season. Nobody really plays for 90 minutes. Nobody really plays for 90 minutes throughout the game. I think he had a good performance. I think it's better than what we've expected. I actually think that the criticism for Mason Mount sometimes is a bit harsh. I think I would give him a bit of sabr. I'd give him a bit of patience just because of his injury problems last year and the fact that he didn't really get to play much. If I'm going to judge him, I'm going to judge him on the next couple of months. Do you guys know what I'm saying? Mount has no technical ability. He's trash on the ball. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what is Mount's role. What is Mason Mount's role? Is his role just to run? Literally road runner settings, guys. Mo Farah settings. Just run, covering grass, pressing, bringing energy. Because if that's the case, I will do that for free. United, you don't have to pay 60 million for a player for that. Just put me on the pitch. I'll do it for free. I think in the midfield that Man United are building, can I say, with Bruno, with Kobbie, and whoever it is that will partner Kobbie, even with Toby Collier, we're going to come and speak about him as well. They are players that are good on the ball. They are players, I personally think, if Man United are going to have a midfield, and it looks like, can I say, Erik ten Hag is going down the path of a 4-2-3-1. From yesterday's game, United started with a 4-2-3-1. And I think they actually should play 4-2-3-1. And if that's what they're going to do, and they're going to play a double pivot with Kobbie and someone else, both players need to be technically good on the ball. They have to be technically good on the ball. Lil Yo-Yo, been a member for 7 months, says, can we talk about what Onana did for Gabriel's pen? We spoke about it at the beginning of the stream. Let me bring it back up because it made me laugh. This made me laugh. So I was cackling to myself at nearly 4 a.m, guys. This made me laugh so much. Honestly, this guy has just given rivals meme material. Wallah, he's given them meme material for the rest of the season. I swear to you, people are sitting on this picture. There was one video clip that I saw, right? Let me see. Where's Connor? Connor posted it on Twitter. Is this it? Yeah, it's here. Is this the start, guys, of a oh shit, I stopped sharing by accident. Oops. Here it is. Is this the start of something, guys? Look what he does. He goes the way that Onana tells him to go, and then he goes to Onana and he tells him, you talk too much, shush. He's telling him, is this the start of a Man United and Arsenal rivalry again? Because we got Onana who's trash talking people, doing stuff like this. We got Onana doing stuff like this. I don't know, man. I don't know. This guy, he just gave everyone one line. He said, yappa, yappa, yappa. He said, yap, 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 yap. He said, this guy, he yaps too much. He yaps too much. Let's rate, can I say, Mason Mount's performance yesterday. What would you lot rate it out of, actually? What would you guys rate it out of? I would give him a 6. A 7. I'd give him a 7. I think he did well. I actually think he had a good performance yesterday. But like I said, I don't know what his role is. I don't know what is the role for him in this Man United team. Where do you lot see Mason Mount playing at best? What role do you see him playing in? Do you see him playing as a rotation player? Do you see him being a starter? Do you see him being the long-term replacement for like a Bruno? Do you see him being an option for the right-hand side? Do you see him playing as an 8? Do you see him playing next to Kobe and Kobe playing as a 6 and Mount playing as an 8? Do you see him making the lineup, making the match day squad? Or do you think that United are probably going to move him on in the next 12 months? Damn, this is probably the first time everyone in the chat agrees. 5 max, 6 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 6 plus. Everyone's saying 6. Show's laughing at the fact that I said 7. Shane says 6. B minus, nothing special to be honest. 6 out of 10, and I'm being generous. Rotation player, attacking mid, riding the bench, substitute, rotation player. 60 million for a rotation player is absolutely sad. Absolutely sad. Do you see the lack of technical ability in the midfield? Absolutely horrendous. Like last season, can't keep the ball, no flow or control. Do you think that that's because people like Kobe, Bruno, etc. are not there? Lisandro Martinez is not there. It's pre-season, guys. But I do kind of see the worrying side of things. And when I say that, is I don't know what it is. It's like Arsenal's goal, the first goal yesterday, Martinelli's goal was a good finish. The first goal, I just felt like it's like they can just their concentration can just lapse for like out of randomly for a second, and teams can capitalize on that. We saw it last season. How many times did we see that kind of stuff last season where it's just a moment of lapse and bam, the opponent capitalize on that? That's how I felt like it was yesterday's goal. I felt like the passes were simple passes through the team. In the second half in particular, Scallon, I think his name was, got cooked. Martinelli had a field day on Man United's right-hand side. Man United, honestly, and that's why I'm saying it's just pre-season. I can't dwell on it too much. I really, really can't dwell on it too much. And a positive for me yesterday, I would say was Collier. I think Collier had for me, I made a video about this last week, guys, about why I think Toby Collier is up next. I could even argue that it's him and Harry Amass. Like this season, we could possibly see 2 players coming through from the academy into the first team. Like honestly, I won't say Toby Collier probably is gonna start consistently, but he can definitely get into the team, and he can definitely be part of the squad. I definitely think that. I think he offers a lot of quality on the ball. I think he reads the game very well. I think he's technically he's good on the ball. Defensively, he's good. Excuse me. He can read the opponent. He can read the opponent very well, which is also another positive. And obviously, he's just got that je ne sais quoi. You know what I'm saying? He's just got that je ne sais quoi when he's on the ball. I've been impressed with his performances. I think the first preseason game, it was obviously the first preseason game, so I didn't really want to think about it too much. But his second and yesterday's game, so the last 2 games, I think he was pretty decent. I think he was actually quite good. And I can see him breaking into the team with this guy here. I saw people saying he's not ready. I saw people saying, oh, he ain't going to replace. I saw people saying that he's not going to replace Luke Shaw. I'm not saying he's a replacement immediately, but he is a very good fullback. He's a very, very good fullback. And I think Manchester United, I think Man United will be donuts to treat him in the same manner that they treated Alvaro Fernandez. And by that, I mean not giving him any chances in the team, not giving him any opportunities to start or maybe come on as a sub. I think pre-season, can I say, is the time for, obviously, I look at pre-season in 2 ways. I look at it as a time to kind of gauge the senior players, for them to get match fit, etc. And also for the academy players to get real opportunities, because they're not going to get these opportunities in the Premier League. It's not really going to happen. So it's a good opportunity for players like Amass and Collier. And for me, I think there's another youngster as well. I don't want to butcher his name. So if I'm gonna say his name, let me bring up his picture first. Where here he is. Here he is. This guy, I think, has actually been quite impressive too. The guy with the bandana. Yeah, you knew I was gonna bring him up. You knew I was gonna bring him up. Maxi Oyedele. Oyedele. Where is he? That is a Nigerian name? Surely he's Nigerian, right, guys? Surely he's Nigerian. His name is Maximilian. I ain't never heard someone called Maximilian. He's okay. So his mother is Polish and his father is Nigerian. I've never seen a Polish Nigerian mix in my life. Niger boy. He's a Niger boy. Yeah, I've never honestly that is very rare for any Nigerians in the chat. Is that a common mix? Because I've never seen Polish mixed with Nigerian. But that is a serious name, Maximilian. This guy's destined to be a star just with the name that he has. But I've been impressed with him during preseason as well. I think everybody looks at Collier and Amas, and nobody really mentions him. Nobody really mentions him. Maxi looks promising still. I think he does. I think he looks quite promising. I've been impressed with him so far. But like I said, preseason is a chance for people that haven't really got opportunities before for them to get those opportunities now. In particular, obviously, the academy players. Like that's for me the most important thing. For me, that's the most important thing. Let's talk about Marcus Rashford. Let's talk about Marcus Rashford. Before I go into my view, what did you lot make of his performance? What did you lot make of his performance? Because I saw people criticizing him. I saw people have quite a lot to say about him. I think he was okay. I honestly thought he was just okay. Now, reportedly, Marcus Rashford is in the best shape that he has been in a while. Apparently, he's in the best shape physically wise. Cricket's champion. He was just there. Rashford was fine yesterday. He was all right. He's always all right versus Arsenal, to be frank. Star-Lord says poor, in my opinion. Lil Yo-Yo says meh out of 10. Lord Rashford can't look up. You lot saying not much. You lot don't really have much to say about him. Couple of good moments. Ed says 6 or 6.5 out of 10 for Rashi. Mark says we haven't seen anything. I looked at yesterday's game, right? I looked at yesterday's game, and I can't lie, there were definitely a couple of players that I thought, bro, you guys have passed your time at Manchester United. Probably taking it easy because of the dodgy pitch. That could be a reason. I thought in the first half he was all right. I think he was okay. I think he was okay in the first half. But that's the thing is, like, a lot of preseason, I'm looking at people like Marcus Rashford. I'm looking at people like the most seasoned players. I'm looking at them thinking, okay, you look all right. Just get match fit. That's just the most important thing. And I looked at yesterday's game. Casemiro reportedly is staying. And I always say this, Casemiro, I don't know what it is. He can be so good sometimes, but he's just got one kind of moment in his brain that he just his brain starts malfunctioning and he makes a mistake. And then his teammates have to kind of fix the problem. And that's what's the scary thing. Amad Diallo for me was just average yesterday. And that's the thing with like Amad Diallo, I expect him to play good in every single game in preseason because he is someone that has something to prove. He's got to really grab this opportunity by the scruff of his neck and really take this opportunity. People like Casemiro, people like Marcus Rashford, they're not playing to get into the team. They are not playing to get into the team. They are playing to get fit, to be match fit. That is literally what they're playing for. So I really need people like Amad Diallo to really take that the opportunity that he has and really grab it by the scruff of his neck. And like I said, Amad Diallo in particular is one of them. Let me see what you lot are saying in the chat. Cass looks decent when Collier's beside him. How does playing next to an academy kid make you look good? That's outrageous. But of course, can I just say, just to counter what I've just said, when you're spreading the work across two people, it's less work. It's kind of less work. TI10 says Casemiro needs to stay. Do you guys want Casemiro to stay? Do you lot want Casemiro to stay? Pretty much everyone except Amas, Mount, and Højlund was a 6 out of 10. That's being quite nice. That's being quite nice. We're never going to win the big trophies with players like McTominay featuring and Hannibal, Wan-Bissaka, and Lindelof and more. Lindelof catching a stray. Bro weren't even there yesterday. Apparently United didn't take him. I'm saying take him, but they didn't play him because they want to keep him fit. He didn't train with Manchester United, sorry, because United are taking precautions for his fitness and the prospect of selling him. But Hannibal for me also, like, I feel Hannibal's time for me is just it's over at Manchester United. Hannibal's time at Manchester United for me is done. It's done. Like, there is nothing else he can do for Man United to get into it. Did you see Saeed telling Cass to stay? Yeah, that made me laugh because he's been getting onto him all season. But for me, out of all the players yesterday I watched, and I've always been, by the way, a fan of Hannibal. I liked Hannibal, but I've always feel like he's missing maturity in his game. I think that's the best way to describe it. I feel like he's missing maturity in his game. And you see players like Kobbie Mainoo, years younger than him, that have that maturity. Simple as that. And I think without that in your locker, you're not going to make it at the team. And right now, and also last season, he was just there to make up numbers. I don't think he was ever going to be part of a Manchester United team that's going to compete. I don't ever think that was going to be the case. I look at his loan spell at Birmingham City, and he really didn't capitalize on what was a good start at Birmingham City. If you lot don't know, the year that Ahmad went to Sunderland, he was at Birmingham City. And every time Birmingham City played Sunderland, Ahmad shitted on him. Excuse my language. But he shitted on him. Hannibal is not good enough. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I wouldn't say, I don't know. How can I describe Hannibal as a player? I wouldn't say he's a technically good player. And I wouldn't say he's P&P. He just runs around headless on the pitch. We talk about Scott McTominay a lot. He runs. I think it's because he's also got the passion. That's it. So because he's really willing to chase down every ball and he's not going to do it properly, sometimes he might fly into a player. He might give away a free kick. That to me is lacking maturity. And because he lacks that, he lacks a lot of other stuff. He literally lacks a lot of other stuff. And his temperament doesn't help him either. His temperament really, really does not help him. Too wild on and off the ball. I think that's a good way to describe him. Hannibal is a Duracell bunny. Don't think he is even Prem level. I mean, you look at the loan spells he had. He went out on loan in the latter half of the season. Didn't really get much game time. Went to Birmingham City. Was okay. Doesn't really make it into Tunisia's starting team for the national team. Doesn't really get into the starting team. He's more of a bench player. Leidouni plays over him in Tunisia, and Leidouni is a baller, so rightfully so. But I just think he's just not Prem level. I agree. I agree. Maybe he is not Prem level. Maybe if he went to Championship, a team like Wigan, a team like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a team. Coventry. Even Coventry is a bit nice. Coventry is a bit nice. Big up to Benito, says, why play Euro when he didn't train the other day? Big up for the super chat. I appreciate the contribution. That's a good question. For me, it's like, if a player is not, and this is applicable to all the players in the team, if they are not training for 100% of the sessions in pre-season, don't risk starting them. And it's not just him that this is applicable to. This is applicable to all the players. Sell him to Rex. If we get Ugarte and Collier, Oyedele are backups, I'm okay if Casemiro stays at least until January window. I don't see Casemiro leaving in a January window. Excuse me. I feel like it's very rare for teams to be splashing out in the January window. Like, I don't know if you lot realize, but teams don't really be buying people in January window. And we need to let this notion go that Saudi Arabia are going to come in and solve our problems and buy all Manchester United's dead weight. They're not going to do that. The Saudi Pro League is not going to do that. Casemiro does not want to go there, which is quite obvious. But let's talk about outgoings. Seeing as we're on the topic of players leaving, let's talk about outgoings. Reports coming out of Belgium is that Anderlecht are interested in signing Christian Eriksen this season. Eriksen has not yet decided whether he will leave the Premier League or stay, and if he leaves England, Anderlecht have a chance of signing him. And it's not just Anderlecht that are interested in him. Manchester United are ready to sell Christian Eriksen and will accept an offer of 5 million euros. 5 million euros is the budget that they've slapped, or the fee that they've put on Christian Eriksen's head. And it's not just Anderlecht that are interested in him. Ajax are interested in him. Ajax are interested in him as well, for 5 million as well. That's not a wild price, guys. I actually think that is. I'd take 3 million. That's very cheap. That's very cheap. But I think you look at age, you look at, how many years he's got. 1 year left on his contract. So I hear it. Is it possible for us to sign Fofana? Well, funnily enough, L'Equipe just reported now that Monaco have turned down Milan's opening offer of 17 million for Youssouf Fofana. At the same time, they have received an offer of 35 million from West Ham, in line with their asking price. However, Fofana prefers a move to Milan. So Manchester United still haven't gone in and made a bid for him. And that's talking about. I'm talking about what's it called? Youssouf Fofana. Manchester United are yet to go in to make an offer for Youssouf Fofana. West Ham, are they just trying to take all in Man United's targets? I don't get it. First Mazraoui, now Youssouf Fofana. And it's funny because when nobody wanted Youssouf Fofana and it was just AC Milan, yeah, Monaco were happy with 15 to 20 million. But now that Man United are interested, West Ham are interested, Atletico Madrid are interested, they've increased that to 35 million. And West Ham have obviously bidded that and are able to pay that. But because the player probably doesn't want to go to West Ham, it makes sense. It makes sense. First Bayern Munich rejected whatever it was for Mazraoui from West Ham. And now Monaco are not interested. 35 million euros is a mad fee for Fofana. Honestly, for a player, from no disrespect to Monaco, but he's on his last year of his contract. They should actually be listening to less offers. They should actually be listening to way less offers for him. I think, I'm not gonna lie, guys. You don't know I'm a fan of Youssouf Fofana, but I would not pay 35 million for him. I would not pay 35 million for Youssouf Fofana. Manchester United. Now, this is an interesting one. This is an interesting one, guys. Obviously, with the news, I would say, with the news of Lenny Yoro, and we're still waiting for an injury update. I think we'll probably get an injury update probably later tonight, UK time, which is probably because LA is 7 hours, I think, behind us. So maybe around 1 a.m. 1 a.m. UK time, we might get an update on Lenny Yoro. But it's reported that Manchester United do not plan to spend anything more than £38 million on Matthias de Ligt. I think if Lenny Yoro is out for 6 to 8 weeks, if it's a hairline fracture and it's not a sprained ankle or something, United are going to pay that price. United are going to pay the price that Bayern Munich want. By the way, there's not much difference between what Bayern Munich want and what Man United are willing to pay. 50 million euros is 42 million pounds, roughly. It's just me approximating. So it's only a couple of million off from what they're willing to pay. Manchester United better hope that Lenny Yoro's injury is not a long one. And when I say long, I mean anything more than 4 weeks. Because now Bayern Munich are going to turn around and be like, you know what? You actually need the Ligt now. So how about we increase the price and we say 60 million? And I hope that won't happen because obviously one thing I'll say, Bayern Munich want to sell him. So he is clearly not in Vincent Kompany's plans at all. He's not in Vincent Kompany's plans. So that I hear. Otherwise, Man United will end up playing Lindelof. Man United will be, and if Manchester United do not sign a centre-back, and it's just Lenny Yoro, and Lenny Yoro's out injured, welcome back, Victor Lindelof. Welcome back, Harry Maguire. Just like I mentioned, he did not take part. Victor Lindelof did not take part in the training sessions with Manchester United for precaution due to his fitness and the prospect of selling him. Force one of Maguire, Lindelof out of the club and get lit. We're too nice when it comes to clearing deadwood, and it hinders incomings. Do you guys think United should be treating players the way that other clubs treat their players? Like, for example, someone just mentioned Trevor Chalobah in the chat. He's been told not to come to pre-season. He's been told to stay home until they get a move for him. Do you think Manchester United is being nice to players? Because I don't want to see them doing people dirty, but sometimes clubs are doing what they have to do to offload a player. They're doing what they have to do. Manchester United, literally 9-10 months ago, were happy for Jadon Sancho to sit out for the season for disrespecting the manager, apparently. Yes, we are way too nice and these players take advantage of us. It's low-key disrespectful, but it's business. Yeah, I hear it. It is business. I hear it. It is business. Big up Steffi in the chat says they should, though. Why fly an extra head there for nothing? It's true. Maybe that is also another fair point. That is another fair point. Show says, yes, we should. 100% in caps. Otherwise, what reason do they have to leave? Ange completely shut Dyer out and he left. That's true. That is true. Maybe Manchester United are very nice. Maybe Manchester United are very nice when it comes to players, and trying to offload players doesn't always work in Manchester United's favor. Can I just say that? It doesn't always work in United's favor. It's always, I don't want violating like they did with Schweinsteiger just because we want them to go. This is valid. If you lot do remember, Schweinsteiger spoke about it in the overlap. I think it was on the overlap, how he talked about how he was forced out of the club, etc. But the thing is, the way that I see it is, these are just extra heads. Now, one way I look at it is, at the end of the day, you need some players. Like Manchester United need players like Aaron Wan-Bissaka, etc. on the tour with them because there's not many fullbacks. There's not many fullbacks available. So some players they actually need. And also, can I say, some of these players, and I'm going to look at it on the flip side, have been professionals and professional servants of the club. So that in that way, I don't really agree with kind of pushing a player out the door. Like, obviously, you can try and sell them. You can put them on the transfer market, all of that kind of stuff. But going to an extent of leaving them behind, telling them to stay at home and train individually whilst the team go on pre-season, I think that's taking it a step too far. And I wouldn't encourage Manchester United to do that because I criticized Chelsea for doing that with Chalobah. And I have no connection to Chelsea and Chalobah. The only thing that I see is an academy player being shunned out and being forced out and not being able to go on pre-season tour. So I can't turn around and say Man United should do that because really and truly, I don't rate it when Chelsea do that. Lindelof is not good in anything on the field. I think that's harsh. I think that's harsh. That would also decrease their value, Mina. Exactly. It will also decrease their value. And at the end of the day, the more players you take on pre-season, actually, the better for you. Wouldn't you want players to, like Victor Lindelof, etc., to keep fit, to prove that they're available to play? Maguire is entering his 7th season. Lindelof is entering his 8th season. Shaw his 11th season. Aaron Wan-Bissaka his 7th season potentially. It's crazy. You know what's funny, guys? Luke Shaw is entering his 11th season. Do you know how old I was when Man United signed Luke Shaw? Let's just say I was a teenager. I was a teenager. Let me see exactly how old I was. Oh my God. Was I a teenager then? Yes, I was. I was actually a teenager in 2014 when Manchester United signed Luke Shaw. That's crazy. Well, when you put it like that, that's crazy. When you put it in that sort of context, it really makes you deep. I was in primary school. Damn. I was 17. Yeah, that's crazy. Primary school when Man United signed Luke Shaw. Damn. On some other outgoings, or not actually an outgoing, it's reported that Erik ten Hag is more than happy to keep Casemiro at Manchester United beyond this summer, believing that the Brazilian has an important role to play across the 24-25 season. This was reported by United District. Shout out to them. Is this a good sign? It actually makes me think that United are not signing a midfielder, guys. If you're not, imagine this. Mazraoui comes in, the Ligt comes in, and United's transfer window is done. that could definitely be was in the prime of my 20s. Damn. Yeah, damn. Sorry, I shouldn't age shame. This is a safe community, guys. This is a safe community. But damn. But anyway, listen, let's get back to Casemiro. I actually think United might not sign a midfielder, guys. I actually think United will not sign a midfielder with Casemiro staying. Why? Because a lot of the discourse about this was, if we get Ugarte, we have to sell Casemiro. If we sign, Fofana, we have to sell Casemiro. That was literally the topic of discussion every single time we spoke about the prospect of signing Nah, guys, a moment of silence. Shout out to Ahmed Dashan. Shout out to no, guys. I stopped reading the age stuff, but I saw this in the chat and I was like, damn, bro was marching with Martin Luther King. Ahmed was marching with Martin Luther King, guys. He was there when it wasn't a dream. He was there when it was reality. Shout out to Ahmed, honestly, shout out to him. 31, bro, you're older than my siblings. My oldest sibling, 11 years ago, how old would she have been? She wouldn't have been 31. How old would she have been? Fuck, how old is she now? Oh shit, no, she would have been. So you're like, I have to call you uncle, bro. I have to call you uncle. My guy Ahmed created time. Shout out to Ahmed. Riri says, I was 32. But listen, I'm not realizing that this community has a wide range of ages, guys. This community is a wide range of ages. Honestly, we got kids here. We got people saying, oh, I'm doing my high school exams, blah, blah, blah. I'm doing my university exams. We got people that are working professionals. We got uncles. We got aunts. We got everybody here. Minna has to call me auntie too. Listen, if you lot are above a certain age, I will call any of you lot auntie and uncle. I too, you lot saw me on stream the other day when I was saying that my neighbor's kids call me auntie and I ain't even an auntie. They actually need to stop doing that. But anyway, listen, let's get back to the topic of discussion on Casemiro. I don't think Casemiro is leaving. I think he's staying. And if he does stay, I can't lie, Manuel Ugarte, I don't really think it's going to happen. I don't really think Manuel Ugarte is going to happen. And the only reason why I'm saying that is because there's been a lot of emphasis placed on offloading a midfielder. Hold on, you said you have a nephew. Guys, my oldest, let me put it like this. My oldest nephew is 2 years younger than me. I was an auntie when I was 2 years old. That's the first time I became an auntie. And then my other nephews are like 3 years younger than me, 5 or 6 years younger than me. So when I'm out and about with them in the street and I see people, I bump into people I know, I introduce them and say, oh, these are my nephews. And my friends look at me like, how are these grown-ass men your nephews? They literally look like they're older than you. So yeah, it's one of my siblings' kids. Only 2 years. The oldest one, my oldest nephew, is 2 years younger than me. Shout out to him. But people are talking about this topic a lot. So let's revisit it. Let's revisit it. Xerxes looks dead on arrival. Bro hasn't even arrived yet. He's on holiday with Jamal Musiala. Bro ain't even arrived. Love Rain says Mazraoui scares me. He is not United levels. Now, if you lot did miss the news when we first went live, the topic of discussion was Manchester United have reached a verbal agreement to sign Nazir Mazraoui from Bayern Munich. Mazraoui has said yes to Manchester United. The only thing that is missing, that's pending right now, is for an agreement on personal terms between West Ham and Aaron Wan-Bissaka. In order for United to sign Mazraoui, they have to sell Wan-Bissaka, obviously, to West Ham. And Manchester United and West Ham have reportedly already come to an agreement on terms. There are currently talks ongoing with Manchester United and West Ham, and it's a fee in excess of £15 million. So just about £15 million for Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Now, like I said, earlier in the week, it was reported that West Ham, Aaron Wan-Bissaka did not want to go to West Ham. His preference was to go to Inter Milan, but United have to sell him. So at this point, I think they're trying to get him out of the door. And to get him out is to bring in Nazir Mazraoui. Does that mean potentially United have 1 or 2 signings left in them? I don't know. I actually don't know. When I truly think about it, I think about the prospects of United's transfer window and what's left. Obviously, we know that Dan Ashworth is out right now. We know that Dan Ashworth is out in LA right now. We know Umar Barada is out in LA right now. We know that there's quite a lot of the Manchester United staff that are out in LA right now. I know a lot of you lot are not fans also of Mazraoui. Like, I've actually seen a mixed responses on the idea of Nazir Mazraoui. And I think a lot of it is because of his injury record. I'll say it's because of his injury record. I'll say some of it is also because he's an ex-Ajax player. I like the fact, personally, that he can play across both sides. If we have a fullback in Dalot and Mazraoui that can play left, they can play both sides. That's actually pretty decent. The only good thing is to say, hopefully neither of them get injured at the same time. Now, look at this graphic, guys. Look at this graphic that is Manchester United's transfer window so far. Joshua Zirkzee confirmed. Lenny Euro confirmed. Manuel Ugarte rumoured, but the rumours have really died down. The rumours, I would say, have really, really died down over the last week and a bit. And then Nazir Mazraoui, who looks like to be the most likely announcement in the coming days. What would you rate this out of 10? I would say 5. Wallahi, I would actually rate this a 5. If I'm being honest, my allergies are so bad today, guys. I need to take some antihistamines. But honestly, I'd rate this a 5 out of 10. This does not move me. Wallahi, this does not move me one bit. I look at Joshua Zirkzee, 10 goals, I think he scored last season. 13 goals or something. Lenny Euro could be injured. Might miss the first 2 months of the season. Manuel Ugarte is coming off of an average season for PSG last year, so it's not like he's coming off a top season and then coming to United with like high expectations. And then Nazir Mazraoui, I think the fee is reasonable, but the injuries is what scares me. The grass is grassing today, bullying noses. Honestly, I was out earlier today. I couldn't keep my eyes open. It was literally whack. Like, when I say whack, I mean like water. Like my eyes were very, very, what's it called? It was watery. So I literally couldn't keep my eyes open. I had to just sit there with my scarf like this half the time because literally my eyes were just watering all day. And I was just like, I'm ready to go back to my house because I can't be outside. Adam says 4 out of 10. Sefa says 6. Abu says too many deadwood and injury-prone players. What do we class as injury-prone, though? What do we class as injury-prone? Traverelli, sorry, I keep mispronouncing it, says 7. And I think Traverelli is an Arsenal fan. If I'm not wrong, you're an Arsenal fan, right? Love Rain says if Mazraoui comes in, it's a 3. Love Rain, I've realised, has been hating Mazraoui in the chat all day. So I think we know how you feel about Mazraoui. Almost says 2 out of 10. Ed says 6 out of 10. Ti says 4 out of 10. Tom says 3. Adam says worse than last summer. Last summer, the summer that we spent 60 million on Mount, 72 million on Hoyland. What was it? 50-something million on Anana. You're saying that this is worse than last season. I think this strengthens different positions for sure, but I'm thinking of what it might strengthen certain positions, but what will it make a big difference is what I'm saying. Will it make a big difference? Show says 3 out of 10. Damn. Big up to Ahmed says, the question is, does Mazraoui make us better? All right, good question. Let's debate that. If Mazraoui is starting at left back, who are we having, him or Luke Shaw start? That's the best way to look at it. If Mazraoui is starting at left back, who do we have starting, him or Luke Shaw? This was a guy that couldn't really start over Alphonso Davies, and I think Thomas Tuchel preferred Kimmich at right back over him at right back. He plays good at left back for Morocco, from what I've watched. I think going forward, he's definitely an asset. But also, can I say Luke Shaw is an asset going forward? Let's be real. Let's be real. Let's not like people might not rate Luke Shaw anymore because he's been there for over 10 years, etc. But let's be honest, Luke Shaw going forward is a big difference. You see the difference of Luke Shaw playing with someone like Marcus Rashford versus when it's another left back, if it's Wan-Bissaka playing there or something. You see the big difference. He's good on the ball. I think the biggest asset for Mazraoui, similar to someone like Ligt, similar to Lisandro Martinez, similar to Onana, similar to someone like Anthony. Unfortunately, I don't want to say this, but they know Erik ten Hag's system. And I think that's really shit to say. Excuse my language. That is quite crappy to say that they understand Erik ten Hag's system. But that is also an asset. In the manager's eyes, that's an asset. They know your system. Now, defensively, is he any better than Luke Shaw? Luke Shaw is a bit wobbly. No, not in an insulting way or anything. But when I say he's a bit wobbly, sometimes good, sometimes shit. You know, sometimes he's good, sometimes he's ass. Defensively, sometimes he's lacking that extra step, that extra mobility, and sometimes he's reading it very, very well. He's reading the situation very, very well. My worry with Luke Shaw, similar to Mazraoui, or maybe even more than Mazraoui's, is his injury record, in particular over the last couple seasons at Manchester United. Because you don't want to, you don't want to bring in a right back or a fullback in Mazraoui, and Luke Shaw's injured, Malacia's injured, and then Nazir Mazraoui's injured. You don't want to do that. If Shaw is fit, then of course he starts. All right, guys, let's just put it in the chat. Starting left back, Luke Shaw or Mazraoui? Say United buy Mazraoui, which is what we are believed to. That's what we are rumored to believe currently. If they buy him, who's starting? Should we do a poll in the chat? Let me do a poll. We're going to do a poll in the chat. Starting left back. Shaw, Mazraoui. I see someone say Amas in the chat. Who's the starting fullback? Who is the starting fullback between the two of them? Because I think, I don't know. Can you add neither as an option now? It has to be one or the other. It has to be one or the other. Let me see what you lot are saying. It's a mix and match. I'm seeing a mix and match of answers in the chat. I'm really seeing a mix and match. Shaw is leading by a mile, guys. Shaw is leading in the poll by a mile. So it's safe to say, I would say, that Luke Shaw, you lot feel like Luke Shaw is definitely the starting left back. Oh my god, I'm missing Team USA's basketball game. To be honest, I'm boycotting the Olympics, so I'll just have to keep it up. I have to keep watching it from the timeline. But it looks, you lot are all saying Luke Shaw. You lot are all saying Luke Shaw. Frimpong would improve you guys. I think Frimpong would improve United as a winger. I think if he was a right winger or a right wing back, he would improve Man United. But Jeremy Frimpong is not a fullback. Jeremy Frimpong is not a fullback. Simple as that. So I don't think he will improve Man United as a right back. If we were to say as a right wing back, United playing back five, and we got a wing back, okay, cool. I hear it. But I don't think so. I really don't think he would improve United as just solely as a right back. Kadioglu, please. I don't think United would buy Kadioglu because of his price tag. You see the price tag. Turkey, Fenerbahce are looking at 35 million for him. They're looking at 35 million for him. I wanted Kadioglu at Arsenal. You lot got Calamari. He's a baller. Calamari's good. Why aren't we trying for Ain't Nori? Bad enough that we don't even try for Maatsen. Let's be real, guys. How much do you think Wolves would sell Ain't Nori for? Because it's not just... I think Liverpool were interested in him as well. Wolves are putting a 50-60 million price tag on him. 35 million is a lot. I think 35 million is a lot in the grand scheme of Turkish league. I wouldn't see United signing a player from the Turkish league for 35 million. Mark says they rejected our 23 million pounds for Kadioglu. There you go. Which is probably around what they're paying for Nazir Mazraoui. That looks like what they're going to pay for Nazir Mazraoui. Ain't Nori is worth a lot. Yeah, I think he goes to Liverpool. I said this. I don't know if you don't remember. I said it ages ago on my stream. That I see Trent going to Real Madrid. I said this months ago. Like, I think it must have been early in the season last year. And I think when Trent leaves Liverpool, they might go and sign an Ain't Nuri. There's not really. I'm looking at right backs in football right now. Frimpong, I wouldn't think he's a Liverpool-esque player. I actually think Frimpong will go on to stay at Bayer Leverkusen for another season. I actually think he will stay for another season. I hope we get Ain't Nuri. He's so good. 45 million maybe. United are not going to spend that on a rival Premier League player. I don't know. I just feel like Man United are, I don't want to say pinching pennies, but I feel like they're pinching pennies right now. I feel like they're in a situation where they need to save money. Oh my God, there's actually a... Shit. There's an update, guys. There's an update. I'm saying an update, but this is like from about 45 minutes ago. I just didn't see it. An update on Lenny Yoro's injury. Not a lot of detail, by the way. But reportedly, it's coming from Paul Hurst at the Times. Oof, this is worrying, guys. Rasmus Højlund is a doubt for Manchester United's next pre-season match against Real Betis on Wednesday. Lenny Yoro's injury appears to be more serious than Rasmus Højlund. So Højlund is a doubt, and Lenny Yoro's looks a lot serious. Reportedly, Erik ten Hag left the stadium last night very concerned that Lenny Yoro will be out for a considerable period because of the muscle injury that he suffered in the match. Not a flipping muscle. A muscle injury is worse. A muscle injury worse than a hairline fracture? I don't know. The idea of a muscle injury worries me because the reason why I say the idea of a muscle injury it worries me is because anything can tweak it, anything can trigger it, anything can trigger a thing. Exactly, it's reoccurring. It's reoccurring. Muscle injuries are reoccurring. Like, you hurt your muscle once, and anything can trigger another. You can come back and be rehabilitate and be match ready, and just play one match, and bam, you get another muscle injury. And that's the problem with muscle injuries, which is very scary. Which is very, very scary, which means United need to go out and flip and buy 2 centre-backs. Forget one. Forget only getting De Ligt. They need to go and get another centre-back, especially if the idea and the notion is that they will sell Victor Lindelof. But that is very, very unfortunate, can I say. That is so, so unfortunate for both players. It's unfortunate for both players. It's actually worrying, guys. I'm really concerned now. I'm really concerned. I blame Flex and KG. I blame Flex and KG for going near Lenny Yoro. Matthew says, a tear to the muscle is bad. With muscle injuries with players, they require the player to take their time coming back. Alan Shearer's first injury at Blackburn and his second, which slowed him down at Newcastle. Yeah, I think that's why I'm most concerned, because it's a muscle injury. If it was anything else, like the hairline fracture, the fracture to the hairline, if it was that, then I wouldn't be that kind of fussed. Hirooki Itu, isn't that the guy that Bayern Munich just signed? Itu, is that not the player, guys? That I'm pretty sure that's the guy that Bayern Munich literally, that was the first player that they signed in the transfer window. So apparently he's out. Itu broke his foot. Do you think that means they literally just brought him? They just brought him, like, what? So Bayern Munich triggered his release clause from where did he come from? Stuttgart, for 30 million euros. They triggered his release clause, and he's broken his foot. So how many centre-backs? They still got quite a few things. By the way, they actually have quite a few centre-backs. They obviously got Kim Min-jae, they got Upamecano, they got Dyer. They might have to keep the Ligt, guys. They actually might turn around and say, you know what? We might need to keep Matthias de Ligt. But they also want to sign Jonathan Tah. So no, actually, they might not have to keep Matthias de Ligt. I just realized. They might not have to keep Matthias de Ligt because they should be able to sell him and sign Jonathan Tah. Apparently, they're waiting to sell de Ligt. Similar to Man United, they're waiting to sell de Ligt before they get the opportunity to sign Jonathan Tah, which I think they're already agreed that situation. Branthwaite, how do you lot feel about the Branthwaite move? I don't think there's anything more to it. I don't really think that there's anything more to the Branthwaite deal. I saw that Everton signed a new centre-back. What does that mean for Branthwaite? They might just be preparing to ease him out. They might just be preparing to ease him out for the rest of next season. I think. I think that Jared Branthwaite move has sailed, guys. I think we need to let that ship go. I think the ship has fully sailed, and I don't see United getting him at all. Maybe next season, maybe next summer if, say, Everton get relegated. Harry Maguire. We actually didn't get the chance to talk about Harry Maguire. There's actually quite a few players that we didn't talk about. I'm not even going to waste my time speaking about Anthony, just because I think Anthony is a lost cause. I think it's thank you for the memories. Thank you for the goal on your debut. Thank you for the goal against Barcelona. But Anthony, he has to go. He can't be a starter next season. He cannot be even I would go say as far to say Anthony cannot be even a rotational option for Manchester United next season. Like, I mean it in the nicest way possible. I actually mean it in the nicest way possible. I look at all the other options that Manchester United have on the right-hand side. He should actually be the final choice. And the final choice, and I'm talking about if the world was ending and there's no one else for you to play at right wing, it has to be that's when you play Anthony. Because I watched yesterday's and he just shows time and time again that he offers nothing. Like, I know that Anthony is like, he's got one trick in his locker. He's got one trick in his locker. And I wouldn't be mad if he had that trick on lockdown completely. Like, if he cut in every time on his left foot and it's cash money, I wouldn't complain. I would not complain. But it's the fact that even the things that he excels in, he doesn't do it good. That is what bothers me the most, probably, about Anthony. It's probably one of the most frustrating things. Like, of course, the price tag is frustrating as well. Of course, that the price tag is not up my street, if you know what I mean. But it is annoying. Anthony has no right foot. He wishes he wants to be Iron Robin. At least with Iron Robin, yeah, you knew what you were getting. Every time Iron Robin had the ball, you knew what you were getting, and you knew he was doing it. You knew what he was going to complete. He's not even Robin from Tesco. I think that's even he's Robin from the Hilib Halal. He's Robin from the butcher shop. You know the butcher shops on your high street. That's what you're getting in him. That is a bit too. I'm disrespecting my local butcher shop by saying that. I'm actually disrespecting my local butcher shop. I can't even say he's a Primark version because Primark is actually kind of expensive, and their quality is actually pretty decent. But honestly, Anthony for me is just, I can't fathom the manager continuously backing him. Of course, I'm not saying the manager should come out and criticize him and like kind of kick a man when he's down, but we got to be serious. Like, we have to be realistic. He is probably, I would say, one of the worst signings Manchester United have had in a long time. Like, I look at all the signings United have had post Sir Alex Ferguson, and I could say Anthony is probably one of the worst out of all of them. We can talk about the money side, but if we just talk about the talent side, at least with Di Maria was a good player. Di Maria was a good player. Frustrating situation, but he was a good player. United cut ties with him after a season. But Anthony is poor. He's poor. No one can ever say to me that Di Maria's situation was worse than Anthony's. It's not even remotely the same. Well, you know what I think about every time as well that triggers me? Whenever I saw the funniest TikTok video that was like Anthony's top 5 moments at Manchester United, and it was all funny stuff. It wasn't any goals he scored, it was funny shit that he's done. One of it was the fact that he did his Sonic celebration with the ball under his shirt, and they said that he did 3 celebrations in one because he didn't know when was the next time he was going to score. When he came on the pitch, now this picture here makes me laugh all the time. Well, this picture. This picture, I don't know what it is, but it makes me laugh. Every time I flip and see this picture, I will cackle like no man's business. He thought he was that guy. Wallahi, he really thought I'm that guy. He thought this is the kind of face you make. You know when you're angry and you just want people to think, yeah, this person's on smoke. He's not on shit. He thinks he's him. He's got main character syndrome. He's actually got main character syndrome. Honestly, he scored, was it against Newport County, was it? This is the game that he scored against Newport County and he's cupping his ears. And then he comes on as a sub against honestly, this till today, whenever I see this, I laugh so much. I just laugh so much. But honestly, watching yesterday's game, I didn't need more confirmation, but it just further confirmed to me that United have passed the point of trying to unlock him. And it's actually reported that Manchester United, I remember it was reported that Manchester United were targeting Mazraoui because of his ability to play with Anthony. There's no way we're now doing an unlocking Anthony thing. He's better not being unlocked. Unlocking him makes nothing. It makes no difference. Grr. Oh man, that made me laugh so much. But yeah, when I was saying that, you know, yesterday's game confirmed to me that there were certain players that shouldn't have a future at Manchester United, Anthony was one of them. But I didn't need yesterday's game to confirm that to me. I think it's a sentiment that we've been knowing. I think it's a sentiment that we've been familiar with. I think it's a sentiment that we've been aware of. So it's definitely not something news. It's not breaking news to us. We've been knowing that Anthony should not be. I would even say, let me ask you a question, because let's be real, United are not selling him for anything more than 25 million. 25 million at the best, I think United could get for him. Would you rather United send him on loan? So say the 3 options are sending him on loan, being a starter, or being an option on the bench. But the thing that the only issue I have with Anthony being an option on the bench is that you never know if he's above certain other players in the pecking order. You never know if he's above Jadon Sancho in the pecking order, or Amad Diallo in the pecking order, or Garnacho in the pecking order. I definitely don't think that he's better than any of them. If United could sell him, I really think they would. I really think they would. But I also feel like, again, Erik ten Hag has some sort of loyalty to him. Like, I don't know what it is, but Erik ten Hag seems to have a lot of loyalty to not only the players he's signed, but obviously, particularly the players that he signed from Ajax. He's got a personal relationship with them. He has a loyalty to them that I have not seen with other players. Obviously, we've seen him, you know, be able to speak about people like Rashford, etc., in the media. I wouldn't say like bash them, but like, you know, say, oh, you know, this person is capable of doing this, or this person's capable of doing that. With Anthony, he's just so adamant that Anthony's going to be a great player at Manchester United, and sometimes I'm just like, what? Like, that is serious loyalty. Nottingham Forest brought Anthony Elanga for 15 million, so Anthony should be a similar price. You're saying him and Anthony Elanga are on the same level? That's a bit. That's harsh. But like I said, I think the biggest downfall for Anthony is his price tag. Like, United paying 100 million for him, it's not his fault at all, can I say? It's not his fault. But man, oh man, is that the biggest hindrance to him. The biggest hindrance to him is his price tag. If United bought him for 15 million, like they did Malacia, or 20 million, like they did Malacia, no one would care. No one would actually have so much to say. But it's because of that price tag. And like I said again, it's not his fault. It's United's fault that a lot of the criticism comes on top of that. You paid bare for him, I can't lie. Exactly. If United paid 20 million for him, people would criticize him, but not to the extent that they do. Yankubu, his name is Yankuba Minta. I think that's his name, at Brighton. Baller. He's better than Anthony. Well, he's better than Anthony. The other guy from Ivory Coast, I can't remember who he plays for, but there's a brother that plays for Ivory Coast in the Premier League who's a winger. I don't know if you lot know who I'm talking about. I can't remember what his name is. Adingra. There you go. Thank you. Adingra. Better than Anthony. Adingra's better than Anthony. There are so many players at mid-table teams that I think is better than Anthony. And when Anthony joined, we were kind of held this notion that he was a technically good player. But I don't know about that. Did Edwin van der Sar have a gun to Murto's head whilst negotiating or something? Well, apparently, Edwin van der Sar knew that United were desperate and they would pay whatever. And so they put the 100 million price tag. And when they realized, apparently, and this is all reported by The Athletic when they talked about this Anthony transfer, they said that United didn't even try to negotiate. United, Murto, Arnold, etc., the negotiations team, they did not even try to negotiate the 100 million price tag, despite the fact that I think it was 12 months before Erik ten Hag arrived, Man United's recruitment team identified Anthony as a right winger option, and they valued him at the time for 25 million. They valued him at 25 million. He was one amongst, I would say, many players that were on the list for right wingers. And it's 12 months later when Erik ten Hag arrived and they realized Man United were desperate and Murto and them were not looking to negotiate. Van der Sar said, I asked for 100 million. And I said there's no budging, because he knew that United were so desperate and they wouldn't negotiate, Murto wouldn't negotiate, etc., and that they would pay it. And that's what happened. And that's why I can say that there's no criticism for me that lands when it comes to price tag. I do not criticize Anthony at all for the price tag that United paid for him. It's not his fault. It's really not his fault. However, I do criticize him for his decisions in game. That's it. That is my biggest I would say that's my biggest issue with Anthony in particular. But that's it, guys. That's all we got here. The stream went way over. Can I just say the stream went way over? And that's it. That's all we got for today's stream. We talked a bit about preseason. We talked a bit as well about transfers. Listen, if there's any transfer news, like I say all the time, between now and tomorrow, I will be live. Let me know what you lot are up to for the rest of your Sunday. What's the time now? It's 5:30. What am I up to? I'm actually not up to much. A member only live stream later on this evening. I think I'm doing it at 7 p.m. UK time. So if you are a member, make sure you come through. We're gonna do Q&A. I'm gonna react to football hot takes. So I want you, not even football hot takes, it can be any kind of hot take. So you guys can definitely send some in the chat. What else we're gonna do? We're gonna play footy bingo if we get the time as well. So make sure you come through if you are a member. If you want, wait a minute. Who's this? Who is this? It's a French outlet. I was just about to end the live, guys. I was just about to end the live, but there is some news. There is some news about Jadon Sancho. Now, this is coming from a French outlet, so but it's not L'Equipe. It's not L'Equipe, and it's coming from a French outlet that reportedly PSG have reached an agreement in principle with Jadon Sancho. The Manchester United winger, however, is not a priority for them as they are exploring other avenues. So they're looking at other players, but they want to keep Jadon Sancho there at bay as an option. That's interesting. That's really, really interesting. Now, I was literally about to end the live, but I literally just saw that it's coming from France, which is relatively trustworthy. However, the source is not a source that I've seen as often. So we're going to take that information, I would say, with a pinch of salt. But there we have it. Like I said, be sure to hit the like button, guys, and be sure to subscribe. If you want to join the members gang, the minions gang, you can. It's the pinned comment in the chat. You get your badges, you get your emojis, you get your custom member content, and of course, you get to support the growth of the channel. If you want to, hit the like button, guys. We are about 25 minutes. We're 25 likes away from 200 likes. So if you have not hit the like button on your way out, please be sure to hit the like button. If you are watching this back as well, be sure to hit the like button. And if there is any news between today and tomorrow's stream, I will be live. If we get here we go for Mazraoui, Ligt, etc., Jadon Sancho, whatever, I will be live. If not, I will catch some of you lot on the members only live stream in about an hour and a half, man. You know what it is. I hope you have a wonderful day, guys. I am out. Peace.